Welcome in, guys. It's time for another Wednesday webcam weekly evening. I'm Levi and of course, it's no surprise that with one of the most hype RLEs coming up this weekend in Rochester, I had to grab my personal Rochester boy out from Sean O'Brien's clutches to join me this evening. Jesse Cervini, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, everybody? Hey, Levi. It's been a minute.
It's been a little while. Yeah, it's fantastic to have you here to talk about some awesome news and of course to do some very exciting gameplay commentary action. But if you've been paying attention to our socials whatsoever, you know that there's a lot in store this evening before we just quite get to that. We have a little bit of a pre-show for you guys, of course. With Jesse to tell you guys about what's been going on this week in Universus. And what's our first item on the agenda, Mr. Cervini?
It's the beginning of the month, so you know what that means.
No, I don't. I'm hypothetically speaking, I'm stupid. I'm an utter fool, complete idiot. What time is it?
Time for the ban list for some updates.
There's no changes, guys.
No changes. No changes.
I think everyone kind of saw this coming. Jesse, you're part of one of the most prestigious competitive groups in the entire game, and I live and breathe within the social media spaces of the community. And I think that everyone's kind of consensus was we're probably not seeing anything too wild on this ban list.
Yeah, the format has been, I would say, pretty healthy with the release of set 5. We've gotten a couple of tournaments under our belt with this format, and I mean it's pretty good overall. I think there's a lot of decks that are still in the, people are, and I think it's a good idea if people are ready to get into nationals mode. They're ready to pick it, all right, we're good. I'm good. We're good right now. All right, I'm heading to nationals with my deck. Then I know it's good. There's some cards that people the minorities of the community have been a little annoyed by, but some people got to learn to play through those cards and get used to, and just know that they're going to exist, and they're going to be a part of the format. I am become quite the overhaul stan at the moment. I'll say that.
That's crazy. Yeah, we've had a pretty, I would say, back and forth competitive year this so far throughout, or at least throughout the second half of the year, right? In season 2, where, set 5 came in, really made a massive impact. Almost every top 16 bracket has been like 70-80% set 5 characters, and then some random set 1 legends still persevering through and through. The Eraserheads, the Giros, a little bit of Tokoyami here and there. Nomu has not calmed down this season, and I think it's really funny. But overall, it's still been a really wide spread of them. I think it was really early on in the season where everyone was kind of Mirio this, Mirio that. This guy is the king. Now that dude is kind of starting to fall off. He's still topping. He's just not winning, which I think is an okay place to be, right? But really what we've seen recently is the life symbol, more specifically Overhaul, doing the life symbol things of very similar life Overhaul decks won our last 2 RLEs. And so I think that's something that is a recent development. So I'm sure that it's something the design team is keeping an eye on. However, they're very recent developments regardless, which means it's probably a little too apprehensive to go and slam the little judge hammer, the little gavel down on anything quite just yet.
Yeah, I think who knows? I have a feeling we're going to come into what comes out of nationals. I feel like there's some people that have been brewing and hiding away the secret tech of this format. Maybe it's here already. Maybe we're gonna be like last year, where everybody's like, "Hey, it's Kirishima or it's Bird," and it's gonna be that's gonna be the everybody's expecting that. Or maybe this year's it's Overhaul and Mirio against the world. It might be that for Worlds this year, for Nationals this year, for all 3 events. It really comes down to what do people feel comfortable playing at these large events.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Kirishima, right? The big thing about Kirishima was that he was the comfort deck, and Nats was and still is an event that you don't have to necessarily win to come out on top of. You just have to get that top cut slot so that you can get your Worlds invite, right? If you win, of course, icing on the cake for sure, because that gold rejuve smash is looking mighty fine. But a top cut slot is still going to get you the coveted HLC ticket. So there's a lot of different elements in play as far as what the Nats meta is going to look like. Not to mention, we still have 2 more RLEs down the belt. You know, we might get Rochester out the way, we might get Vegas out the way, and maybe Overhaul just doesn't show up at all, right? And you know, Andrew and Luke are just actually gods at the game, right? Or maybe Overhaul also wins these 2 RLEs and they go, maybe we'll slam a hammer down before Nats. Who knows? But at least for the time being, right? That's a future thought. In our present, everything is A-OK. Now that we're going to talk about the future, Jesse, I don't want to talk about the future anymore. I don't want to talk about the past. I want to talk about the present. I want to talk about what's going on right now, man. Holy cow. These Jetburn reveals are super hot fire.
Yeah, we had art reveals to tease us, to get us ready, to get us there. And now we're like
the carrot of the stick.
The carrot was there, and now it's like time. It is time to start showing off some of these amazing character kits.
Yeah, we saw My Hero Meta showing off Best Genius to cap things off with. Then we saw Wasi Plays, one of the biggest card game content creators ever. I know he got Night Eye last season. Really cool to see him wanting to come back and showing us freaking Dobby 3. And then just today, our good friend Tyrell Scott from Ty's House of Cards threw Mr. Endeavor 3 into the fray. And literally all 3 of those characters, all 3 of those kits, holy cow, so exciting. I obviously, you guys know that Willie T has been in my ear since the moment that video went live, talking about these Endeavor brews.
Each one of these kits has something that I'm like, that was needed. That was needed. This is great. Like I'm all about the Dobby's unique foundation. How many checks have you made? Well,
the league handler. Yeah, that card's hot. That card's hot.
Try to hurt me, please. Try to finish me,
dude. It's all about the new number 1 for me, man. That card is crazy. It's these freaking 3 diff foundations, Jesse. They're getting out of hand, and I'm so here for it. And like, man, just the power level of these guys. It's up there, man. It's up there. I think Best Genius is like the most tentative one because like we got to figure out how to make ranged work on non-ranged symbols. Which, you know, let's see the rest of the set first. But dude, Endeavor. That guy's just good. Dobby 3, that guy's just good. These are good characters. And it feels really great to say that, right? You know, we don't have to carry these fears of, well, you know, set 5, the character lineup was a slam dunk, home run, knock out of the park. But what happens if we revert, right? What happens if set 6's characters don't all knock it out of the park? What are we not going to see these set 6 character filled top cuts? Nah, I think if these 3 are any indication, man, Jetburn's character roster is really going to throw some spicy stuff into the fray.
Oh yeah, I'm on the let's see what else comes. Like we've seen like the hints of the names of who are going to be in this set. I'm like, I'm ready. I can't wait to see what else comes along with this set.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that, you know, some of us out here are waiting with bated breath for some certain character reveals, but all in due time, right? The reveal season is long. We got a lot more content creators to showcase throughout things, and I'm really excited. Obviously, you know, if you look at our list here, there's a little name sitting there at the very bottom. I've got my own personal reveal tomorrow. It's going to be going out at 11 a.m. Central Time, and I hope you guys are all going to join me for the premiere of it, because I'm going to spill some serious tea about Jetburn. But Jesse, man, let's talk about this weekend, bud. Holy cow, am I excited for this weekend.
Oh, well, as everybody should know, the Rochester, New York RLE is this weekend at Millennium Games and Hobbies. And this is going to be like, this is a big thing for us in Rochester. We get to show off, the biggest gaming store in the country. You get to enjoy the luxurious play space that exists where we can sit well over 300 people. So please fill this room up. Come on, people. If you haven't signed up yet, get signed up. Make your way here. There's hotels all around the general area of our place. Get a room, enjoy the weekend, have fun, and let's play some universes together.
I'm so pumped for this event, dude. Like, one of the biggest things that I really preached about why last season was so exciting was Kansas City, right? We finally got the LWG RLE, the Legendary Wolf Games event, you know? One of the biggest pioneers and storefronts for the game for as far back as the minds can remember. That with that being out the way, there was only one thing left to do now, and that was to get that Rochester RLE, another one of the longest running storefronts, one of the longest running pioneers, ambassadors of the game. Literally the home turf of our champion of the HLC last year, Kevin Broberg. Rochester has been dying to have an RLE for a myriad of reasons, so I'm very excited that this is really, really going to be something that we all get to come together and clasp our hands and enjoy in, and especially in, you said it best yourself, Jesse, the biggest game store in the country. Guys, if y'all have not checked out Millennium Games, our venue on Facebook, TikTok, anywhere that those guys are posting up, this place is insane. It is the craziest card store I have ever seen, and I cannot wait to look at their rooms and rooms of seats and tables and see it lined with our lovely Universus players.
Exactly. There is so much to come out of this weekend. And just remember, we're not going to be going just Saturday and Sunday. We're going to be going live on Friday as well for side events.
Jesse Savini, are you telling me that I'm going to get to sit in a seat right next to you, almost just like we're doing right now, and commentate the standard side event live?
We sure are.
Oh my
God.
God.
If you are planning to participate in this weekend and get some more promos in your pocket, play in the standard side event, come have some fun. We're going to be talking about more than just the MHA block format with this event this weekend, because guess what, we like Universus here in Rochester, and we like it a lot. So we're gonna see some interesting decks. I have helped build a few of them already. So
I hope you're ready to carry my uneducated tush throughout the entire event, Jesse, because it's going to be a fantastic master and student commentary stream.
Oh, you just wait. We're going to talk about some characters that are just going to blow, and interactions that are going to blow your mind, Levi.
I'm sure to have my mind blown. Guys, if you are an MHA only Universus format player, y'all really got to tune into this stream. It's going to be so much fun, and you're going to learn so many things and see so many old school cards that are going to, just like Jesse said, blow your freaking mind. Guys, Rochester this weekend, please come catch all the action. Standard streamed Friday. Saturday, going to be our rounds of Swiss. And of course, Sunday, our amazing Top Cut. It's going to be a great weekend, and I cannot wait to see you all there, either in person or through this screen, just like we are right now. And as much as there is to say, Jesse, about Rochester, though, it's not the last event of the season. We've got Vegas, baby, the home turf of Universus Games. The home turf of our first ever RLE. It's going to feel so good to go back, baby. It's Vegas, man.
It is.
I'm really, really pumped for this event. We're going to get a couple weeks break between the two of them, and it's really going to make September a super action-packed filled RLE month. And in the same exact vein as Jesse was telling you guys for Rochester, if you're planning on hitting up that one, please, man, get those pre-registers in, get those signups in, get those hotels and those flights and all that booked. Be one of the first, insert whatever number it is, to get a point towards getting your free Undaunted raid box. Raid the RLE, go raid Las Vegas, raid it all, guys, because oh my goodness, man, the rest of the season is just going to be so sick. And of course, it's going to capstone into
Pro Hero Nationals.
There it is, boys.
It's gonna be on, like, we go to Vegas. Vegas is like, all right, the season's done. Now it's on the national season immediately. Like,
literally immediately. It's literally Vegas, EU Nationals, Oceanic Nationals, Dallas Nationals, North American Nationals. Like, we are going to have 4 weekends of coverage of Universus in a row. Something, the busiest month of my life. But man, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's going to possibly be the most fun month of my life as well. I cannot wait. There's just so much to look forward to right now. And as happy as I am to talk about it to the ends of the earth with you, Jesse, I got to kick you out, bud. Time for you to get the heck out of here. Jesse and I are going to rotate out real quick, and then we're going to come back with my man Bill Stark to chit chat a little bit about the future, the far future, I should say, of our game. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, gamers. Welcome back, guys. I'm still Levi, but the other side of the screen looks quite different right now because I've got my good man, Mr. Bill Stark, joining me for some hot, spicy questions. But before we get into all of the action there, Bill, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm good, Levi. It's good to join you today. For those of you who are seeing me for the first time, I'm the director of game design here at UVS Games, and excited to be talking to folks today.
Yeah, it's great. We were literally just chatting earlier, right? That I think we walked past each other maybe a couple times at the HLC because we were all running around like chickens with our heads cut off, but we haven't really formally met yet. So for the sake of myself, right? And I guess for the sake of all of our viewers at home, tell me a little bit about yourself, Bill. Before we get into all of the universes discussion, I want to know more about the guy that I'm asking all of these heated questions to.
Yeah, sure. Well, I started playing games in my youth, which was quite a long time ago now. I've been in the game industry for 20 years. I started as a professional gamer. I was a writer and an editor. I moved into game design, and then worked on a bunch of technology products. So I've been around for a long time. I joined UVS Games about 1 year ago. I just celebrated my 1 year anniversary last week, actually. And it has been, you mentioned the HLC. I think I was on like month maybe 3 or something at that point in time. It was all just a ton happening very quickly. So it's been an absolute blast over the last year. It's been just wild and crazy, the ride that we're on. So it's been a lot of fun, and I'm super thrilled to be here working on the best game in the world.
Yeah, things really move at lightning pace here, right? Very like, fun, free startup company vibes. And that's like a really great lead in, right, to what I want to ask you is, you said you have a lot of experience in the industry. I know that you've dabbled in other games before, the games industry as a whole. I'm a bit of a baby when it comes to some of those bigger card games. I haven't dabbled quite a lot. So when they first came to me and said, Levi, you're not going to believe this, we're named Bill Stark, I said, who's that? Who's that? But I really just want to know what's it like comparing what you're doing now to the experiences that you've had in the rest of the industry? What is the stark contrast like?
Sure, I like that pun. I worked with one of probably the big 3 TCG companies for most of my career, and that was a fun experience. You learn a lot there. Working in the game industry is oftentimes a lot of fun, but there's a big difference between a large established entity with a lot of I don't mean bureaucracy as a criticism, but there's a lot of layers when you have a company that's very large and established processes.
A
And
lot
that,
of
that
tape that is this color right here.
but I mean, it's there for a reason. There are pros and cons to that. One of the thrilling things about working at UVS Games is there's a lot more freedom to implement ideas, to listen to community feedback and react to that more directly. When you're working in TCG manufacturing, the timeframes you work on are sometimes a year or 2 years out with products, but some other things you can shift the turnaround on a little bit more quickly, and that's been really thrilling. I think one of my favorite parts is the community here within UVS has been really fantastic. There's a lot of passion. Passion's good and bad, right? There's passion when you put a B&E out and your email inbox blows up. I could maybe use a little bit less passion on those days, but in general, it's better to have people be passionate than not, and I think that's really thrilling. When you're doing game design and you have people that come up and say, "Hey, I love this about this version of Dobby," or even like, "I didn't like this about this card. What was the idea behind that?" The community I have found to be really supportive of one another, and that has been thrilling. So there's just a lot to love. It's been a really fun year. The team has been great. We've expanded game design. I started with the 4 designers that many of your viewers may be familiar with, Tim and Shane, Clint, and Jeremy. It's been absolutely fantastic getting to know them. One of the biggest things that was wild to me onboarding is this team of 4 folks doing game design who had just been building these incredible sets for so long, and getting them more support, expanding the team. We just recently brought an editor on. We added some more game developers to help expand the types of things we can do. That has been a big accomplishment that we put together over the last year. And I think in the next, over the coming months, I think you'll see more names coming out that we're working with and that we're bringing on board to help with that area. But it's been an absolute blast. I'm super thrilled to be here.
Man, that's super exciting to hear. Actually, I would consider myself pretty close buds with all four of those design team and fellows you were talking about, and super duper proud of the fact that they've been carrying these sets all by their lonesome. But the fact to hear that they're getting some more support, obviously that's where you really come in, right? Is just absolutely fantastic. I'm sure it's just going to improve the quality of things even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the hope, right? And I'm very excited. I'm very excited to. I would say this. One of the hard things about being in games is not being able to talk about all the cool stuff that's coming. We just get to talk about the next thing. That sometimes is brutal because you're so excited and thrilled about the stuff. I'm really proud of the work that we've done over the last year, and I absolutely can't wait for gamers at home to get to actually see the results of that work. It's really exciting stuff.
Yeah, I know when you kind of first introduced yourself to the community, right? It was through, the Bands and Errata's updates. And it was also announcing that, when you came in, they were on the tail end of Undaunted Raid. I know that one of the things you really hammered was Jet Burn was the first, Bill Stark influenced set. So all I want to say is I'm really happy that we're starting to see the fruits of your labors when it comes to these Jet Burn cards getting revealed now. And I can't wait to see the rest of the set, man.
Hey, I love hearing it, but I do have to caveat it's a team effort, right? It was the first set that I was, that I had, a heavier touch on, but that is 100% a team effort. And we don't get where we are without, at that time, Tim, Clint, Shane, and Jeremy. Absolutely. Those guys have been fantastic to work with. And so it's a celebration of all of our work together in Jet Burn. And I can't wait for you all to see it as well.
Would you believe that, folks? He's modest, too. That being said, I'm done fluffing you up, Bill. It's time to get onto the hot topics, man. Those bands and erratas that we've been teasing about. Obviously, you hinted about it. You joked a little bit about it earlier, right? You release an update and your inbox gets flooded and you want a little less passion, maybe. I want to hear any levels of light you can shine on us, any knowledge you can bestow upon us, just on what the process for designing and deciding what the bands and the unbands are.
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've talked about this in some of the articles that we've published, and a big part of the early steps that we came on was just being transparent about when can you expect announcements and trying to provide some insights in how do we come up with what we want to be in those decisions. Setting, a monthly announcement to be clear about when things could be expected was important. And then what goes into the decision-making process, there's sort of a multi-step analysis that we do. Most importantly is the data that we're looking at externally, right? So when people are playing tournaments, we're looking at what symbols are being represented. Are there any symbols that are being overrepresented? What characters are showing up? Do the card lists look pretty myopic or the same across all of them? Are there some cards that we think have power level concerns? Are there some cards that we think have game balance concerns? The difference there being a power level card is just too broken on its own, whereas game balance is a card that may not be too powerful in a vacuum, but is distorted within the context of that format such that everyone has to play it and it's not fun to play those decks. So we're starting there with the external data that we have from all of the tournament play that's happening. We look at internal data. So that's our internal play testing with sets that are coming down the road that we haven't revealed yet. And if we think those are going to balance some things, yeah, exactly. If we think those are going to balance some of the cards out that we may be yellow on or even close to red with regards to concerns. We do look at our community feedback. So, I read my emails, I check my Twitter feed, and watch all the Facebook social community pages, right? We are monitoring those things to see how our fans feel. And then we do that with, some of our internal play testing as well to gauge what those reactions are. Neither, those four main things, you can't make the decision based off any single point of data, right? You have to put all of them together to try to take a snapshot and come up with your best conclusion based off that. As you and Jesse were talking about earlier, the last month, set 5 Undaunted Raid has really shifted things. It's shaken things up. And we want to see that kind of play out before we make any more decisions on that. And so we're looking for another month's worth of data to kind of examine what that looks like. And we'll, have another update next month.
I imagine that must be one of the hardest things, is like walking that balancing act between, you're talking about all your factors, right? I feel like the hardest one is like how the fans feel, how the players feel, and then data. Because
Yeah.
sometimes those things don't line up at all. And it's hard to figure out which one is the one, which is one is the more important, which one pulls the more weight, right?
Yeah, no, it is. And, there, there's an old saying, if you give people a jewel encrusted bar of gold, they'll complain about the weight, right? And I think that is dismissive of the very real passion that people have. They care about a format. They want it to feel great. So no matter what, there's going to be some number of people who disagree with the decision. It's really important for us to listen to what they have to say and hear what they have to say. And then we also have to make decisions across a game that has grown a ton over the last year and has gotten bigger and has more people playing. And so when you're doing that, it has to be broader than the even 100 people who've spoken up on Facebook, because you're talking about thousands of players or thousands and thousands of players across the globe at the end of the day. So you have to take a pretty broad snapshot, and ultimately that decision lies with me, right? Like if you've got a name that you want to shout from the heavens in frustration about the B&E list, you can use my name. That goes to everyone on the internet or Reddit or wherever. And I stand by the decisions we make as a team, but we're always monitoring, engaging how we need to improve, and the data points that we can consider to try to find the best environment that we can put together for our fans. Because that's the end goal, is it's having it be fun to play universes. That is the thing that we want. Everyone is in service of the same goal. I want universes to be fun to play. So
Yeah, we have one of the most passionate communities ever, especially when it comes to like the uniqueness and the fun of the game. And that passion can sure sometimes translate itself into a lot of really really heated words. But I think one of the things that I always stand by is that you have to listen to your negative feedback just as much, because those people are going to be a lot louder, and sometimes that can skewer the mindset, but it does mean that you got to really look at them.
that's right. Yeah. And we try to speak towards, it's a dangerous line to walk, right? Because if I come out and say I'm looking at these 3 specific cards, maybe we'll ban them next month, it leads to a whole bunch of negative interactions from folks of like, what do I do with these cards? Should I play this deck? Should I not? That creates a negative experience that's not fun. It's not enjoyable. So we want to walk a balance of transparency on the types of trends that we're looking for and the things that we care about, how we make those decisions, the types of data we're looking for, without targeting anything, to help assuage some of those really passionate concerns. Like, here's our thought process. We have one. It's what we go through. Your decisions may not always agree with our decisions, and that's okay, right? Like, we shouldn't always be in agreement with one another. That's boring. But at least understanding how we come to the conclusions we come to.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense to me, Bill. And I love to hear that. It sounds like things are in good hands on that front. And I'm eager to see you guys maintain these reigns. But man, that's the hard hitting stuff. That's the hard questions. We've got that off of our back now, Bill. Let's talk about something fun, man. And
Sure.
that's a whole lot of formats. MHA is the hotness right now, but there's clearly so much more on the horizon with these challenger decks. And at the same time, when we look at the past, we've got a standard event firing this weekend at Rochester, and we've got a retro event at Nationals. Tell me all about that, Bill. I want to know all about your vision for all these different formats of our beloved game.
Yeah, well, I want to call out the great work our organized play team does. Right, as partners, they're great. Jelly and the whole team, Lenoco, Matt, many of the names that people know. If you're active on our Discord, they do a fantastic job. I'm really proud of the work that they do. I think for me as a player, I have always loved a variety of formats, right? Because not everybody is an MHA player. Not everyone is a retro player. Not everyone's a sealed or draft player. But having a diaspora of formats, if you will, allows you to attract a broader audience. And so there's no doubt that we will be supporting a broader serving of formats to reach more audiences, right? I mean, Universes has 15 years of going back far enough. That is a legacy that's worth celebrating. And candidly, when we talk about having a big retro tournament, as a game designer, there's a part of me that's terrified, right? Like, is this turn 0 wins all day? I don't know, but you'll hear it on the B&E announcement the next month if it is, and we'll make some adjustments if we need to, right? And I think
we're not going to figure out if the format has issues until we play it, right?
That's right. Exactly. I will say this one thing that's really important. Organized play is something that supports the game by building an audience, by highlighting what's great about the community. And so as we look at building out organized play structures into 2024 and 2025, we absolutely believe in leaning into these formats that some of our fans have kept alive for years that feature the long legacy of games that we've built, while also leaning into supporting the new releases that we have coming out. And there is absolutely no question 2024 is the most ambitious year UVS Games has had in its history. It's off the charts ambition level. I have to leave it at that. I can't share all of it. But one of the first things when I came on board was to try to put together a vision for an organized play structure that would help support what we're trying to do there and really delight and honor players who've been around for a long time. We're not abandoning MHA. We're not abandoning MHA block constructed, of course, but there's a huge world of game here for those things to live alongside standard and retro and sealed and draft. And I'm really, really excited to be able to reveal when we're ready to announce those big changes next year. But you can count on seeing a lean into those formats and including them as part of the repertoire of what we offer players for organized play next year.
That's so hyped, Bill. I know you come from, one of the biggest card games that's so famous for having tons and tons of formats, and it's so much information, it's so much going on, and it can be as daunting as it is exciting, right? You were saying how you're a little terrified as much as you are excited. When you kind of like came into the team and started like exploring those avenues, did you just have to do like a bunch of research and look up all these old retro cards and be like, is this even feasible?
I think, on the feasibility side, there's a lot, when you come into 15 years, right? I'm 1 year in, right? If you come into 15 years, there's a lot of like messages to Tim at, 10:30 at night about like, what about this card interaction? Or, I have a lot of questions and the team answers those. So you rely on your team. It's why I built a lot of faith in that group. They're really sharp guys. But for sure, when we talk about, kind of setting players loose on a retro format that frankly hasn't had a lot of love over the last couple of years, it definitely is, it gets your pulse going. What I will say to the community is this: we're giving you this world to explore it. And the adjustments that need to be made, we'll make them, right? So the cards that you break today will be the cards on the errata list tomorrow. And then we'll start with a brand new format and do more things. And that's the natural life cycle of a format. It's part of the joy of a format's puzzle and solving that. So I see it as a positive thing. It is a ton to take on, and it's a lot of leaning on, a great team that we have on board as game designers.
Leaning on the team is such a great way to put it, because like, when we're leaning on the team as much as we're leaning on the community, to help us explore these formats. And I know a lot of really, really, really happy old heads that are going to be overjoyed to take you up on that offer and help explore all the craziness that they've been ingraining into their brains for the last decade or so. One of my favorite things about this community, Bill, is just coming in and getting to know all of these old players, and they always have all these old things to show me, and they always have all of these things to tell me about the history of events. And the history is really the big word, right? Coming in, like you said, on a game with 15 years, there's just so much to know, and it's easily one of the coolest parts about universes.
Absolutely. I think you nailed it right on the head.
Can you, I know that I got to let you go very soon, Bill, because we got a handful of Universe players ready to start throwing down very soon. But before I go, as an interviewer, I am legally obliged to try and drag a little bit more info out of you. I know you said you couldn't talk that much about 2024 and the future of OP there, but as far as just what you're working on right now, your personal feelings, is there anything you can give me a little bit of tease on what you are the most excited about right now?
Well, I'll tell you, this week my big project is trying to finish off my bucket of red vines that I got in the mail. For sure, I'm super thrilled about Jetburn. I loved how our marketing team got to lead on the art, because I genuinely believe it's the best art that we've ever had. It's a lot of it is original art. And I can't speak highly enough about Zoe McNamara, the head of our art team and her group. The work they do. I'm very much a lay person, so whenever I see fancy art, I just get so excited because I don't know any better. But I genuinely believe their work is some of the best I've seen, and I'm super thrilled that gets to go out even before you consider the excitement of the cards. Right, this is a heavily story-driven thematic set, getting to reveal Endeavor. And leading with characters like Hawks is super exciting. So yeah, I'm pumped on Jetburn. Of course, I'm going to say that, right? It's the next set out. It's the first thing that I got to touch at all. I think the teams have been firing on all cylinders in order to get that out.
That's a great politician response, Bill. Now give me the juicy one.
Yes. I'll give you two things. So the first product that I had a hand in building was the Challenger Series at UVS Games, and I'm excited. I'm excited for people to get their hands on that product. We've seen Clash decks for Undaunted Raid that players had trouble getting their hands on because they just flew off the shelves. So there's an appetite for that. But the work we did on Challenger Series is exciting, and some of the IPs we get to work with next year are personally thrilling to me. I am pretty pumped for some of the stuff we get to do. This is some of my favorites.
Everyone, go out there. My agents, my feathers, my loyal Secret Service. I need you to go find every franchise ever that Bill Stark has ever been a fan of. We'll narrow it down.
Don't checking my Facebook likes or whatever.
Facebook likes.
Yeah, there's some great stuff there, and Challenger Series is awesome. It's a cool thing. It's a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. The other one, all I can offer up is this. The last one I'll offer you is this. It is a project. It will not be out for probably at least a year. It is codename Jelly Bean, and that is all I can say about it.
We did it, guys. We got him. All right, call off the mission. Code name Jellybean. Well, holy cow, I'm sure that's going to get the internet speculating, and I can only assume that given our recent licorice collab, it might not be what you're thinking. Probably going to be a little bit more exciting than some Universes themed candy we can eat. But hey, I'm not going to press you for any more, Bill. I'm not going to press you. I think I've gotten all I could get out of you. And either way, I'm out of time. But Bill, thank you so much, dude. This was an absolute blast, and I'm sure you shed a lot of insight on a lot of things that the community's really been raving about lately.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Levi. It's been a blast working with UVS and the community, and I'm looking forward to many more years with Universes. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming out.
Well, that sounds fantastic. I am looking forward to it. Until then, I'll let you get on with the rest of your night, Bill. Gamers at home, I'm going to pop back out, go grab my my man Grandpa Jesse, and we're going to get started on some Wednesday Webcam Weekly action, guys. Stay tuned.